Ooh, aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian Paradise Park on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Yay. So funny enough, I wasn't expecting it, but as I was just sitting here about to begin Wisdom Dialogues, I got this sense to talk about boredom. Just like out of nowhere, of course. So when we get the impression that we're bored, it's as if we want something that's not here now. We want an experience. It's not here now. Like this experience that's arising now isn't good enough. So boredom is a feeling. And every feeling is for healing. So the boredom that you feel is for you to experience. And then it's not bored anymore. Then you're not bored anymore because you're experiencing boredom. And it's so fun. It's so rich. As soon as you realize, oh, I can experience this, then there's certainty that you're having a good ass time. That's what you came for. And not like you came anywhere. You pretend like you did. Pretend like you came here. You formed a body as a device to make it seem like you're separate. In forming a body, then you get to experience the contents of your mind. So if the contents of your mind is causing an experience of boredom, then that's fucking awesome. What is that like? Oh my goodness. Nothing is wrong. That's the thing. It's like whatever you're getting the experience of is exactly what you need. And you know what? It's really good. It's all good. Let's say there's no experience that's not good for you. There's no experience that's without any value for you. To assign different meanings to different experiences, like it's like, oh, that experience when I was dancing on the top of the world, that was the ultimate experience. Now I need to get to that. I know a lot of people that have really heart-opening and beautiful experiences on psychedelics, for instance, and then it'll be like, but gosh, that's so much better than how I experience it all the time. And it's like, that's only because you're holding the judgment. So it's like with the psychedelics, you can temporarily use that as a device to release some judgments and feel so much better. Of course, judgments are heavy. Oh, it's so much better. Oh, my heart feels so open. I feel so close with everyone. And then the psychedelic wears off and the judgments come back in. See, anytime you get the sense that someone else is doing it wrong, that's a judgment. Okay. Even, to analyze someone's ego, it has to be your ego. So it's like you're doing the exact thing that you're telling them not to do. Don't have such a big ego. And any egos that you get a perception of in the world is just a projection of what you want to keep secret about yourself. See, it's like whatever you want to keep secret, that's what you project out, and that's what you'll be reacting to. Okay. So say you think you see a dogmatic person. Say that person is like dogmatic about what they eat. Like, for instance, I was at a party last night and we were about to eat, and then everyone needed to say all the ingredients that were in their food, because some of the people, want to really make sure they avoid certain ingredients, and certain like whole certain things of food or whatever, something like that. So, those of us who don't mind, like, we'll show up to a party and go, oh, I'll try that. Oh, I'll try that. I'll try that. I'll try that. I'll try that. It's really easy for the ego to entice you to a sense of superiority in thinking that that way is less than your way. See? And all that is I don't know if you guys see this subtlety or not. All that is the ego making comparisons, projecting a judgment. It's as if that person like something that person doesn't know, and that's why they have that thing or whatever it is. And just being dogmatic. Like, I have one friend who knows for sure, like beyond everything, that this is the truth. This is the way that you eat. This is the way that you are supposed to eat. And everyone who's not eating like that is doing it wrong. Okay. So, I love that when I get a perception of that. It's awesome. It's just giving us a reflection. It's just a reflection, and it's not in the actual thing that you seem to see them doing, like being dogmatic about food, for instance. It's your reaction that's being reflected in that. See, it's like when you perceive that, do you have a judgment about that? Do you hold a judgment about that? Do you hold a judgment that when he has a Christmas party that you're only allowed to bring food that fits in with his dietary beliefs? It's like, should they not be doing that? Is that something bad that they shouldn't be doing? See what I mean? It's like, in order to make any kind of analytical thing, it's like, excuse me, it's like, Hope, what do you think about that? It's like, it's nothing. It's just not anything. I mean, if the person that had the dogmatic dietary beliefs was coming up to me and saying, hey, you know what, I'm suffering over this and this and this and this, and I have these beliefs, and then I'm going to say, well, those beliefs may be the cause of your suffering, but there's nobody really there. Only you're talking to yourself. There's nobody really there. That person isn't really the way you think you see them. Like, they don't need your help to see things better or to improve or anything like that. That's always a mirror. So it's to see what reaction are you getting? How are you taking that? How's that landing for you? When you can let everyone be as they are, like, there's just no conflict at all, because you're not making conflict within yourself. People don't realize why they get conflict. And it's like looks really obvious from a certain perspective. It just looks really obvious how and why we're making conflict for ourselves. Okay. And I see this all the time where people will be confused. Why is someone mad at me? Why is someone hitting me? We'll have a story about that in a few minutes. I got a friend on today, Bob Shine, who I guess he had an experience of being battered, what it appears to be. So we'll hear from him in a few. So having an experience of a person that seems to be outside of yourself battering you is a manifestation of a need to harm yourself. And, the first thing people bring up is, or you could say, a desire to harm yourself because you agreed with the ego in thinking that you were guilty and deserving of punishment. Okay. So this is playing out, this belief is playing out over and over again. And we keep on validating that belief, in an, unconscious, you could say, even though it's in consciousness, it's this will or wish to make yourself separate. And that keeps everything on a level where it's separate. So it seems like someone can come from outside of yourself and batter you, but really that's just a manifestation of a belief that you're vulnerable. And I see how this plays out. I'll give you an example. It's just a matter of looking at the world and thinking that it's antagonistic to you because it's separate from you, and taking it like that and wanting it to be like that. It's an unwillingness to see that you made it that way. So it's like you want to antagonize the world back. You don't even realize you're doing that, but you want to antagonize the world back. The world is really nothing but a device that you made. So when you project something, some kind of guilt onto the world or the way those people do things, it's very dangerous for you. It's actually dangerous for you. And the danger manifests in forms like sickness and conflict and accidents and disease and stuff like that. What we're here for, what we're joining in this form of wisdom dialogues for, is seeing through the idea that we're separate, so we don't have to have illusions of harm. So we can stop manifesting illusions of harm. Okay, that's the whole point of it. It's not to make anyone guilty. It's not to say that oh, you're guilty and that's why you got battered. When we have the sense that anyone in our perception got battered, we participated in that. That's anyone, anywhere. It's like, don't run from that. It's not to make anyone guilty. I mean, if anyone's guilty, we're all guilty the same. We're all the same. Okay. So it's no different for Bob to get the perception, except Bob gets the experience of a person actually like that, and blood and everything like that. For me, it seems removed because it seems to not appear to my body, but it occurs to me in my imagination in the way of Bob talking about it. So then it becomes my responsibility to heal as well, to not be projecting in basically just any projecting that arises. If you notice that it's projecting, that's enough. Just to notice it's projecting changes its quality and makes it more of a learning experience and less of a teaching in delusion. Teaching more about how we're separate, and you better be careful. You better be careful while you're hitchhiking. That's another one of them. You better be careful, and you start taking all these physical precautions and stuff like that. The physical precautions will come up automatically. Whatever it needs to be will occur automatically. But the healing, it's to be done in the mind, in your mind, and what you make of it. It's always what you make of it. So all of you joining me now, I asked a friend the other day, hey, would you like to join me in awakening from the dream? Would you like to join me in awakening from the dream? That means that we're undoing everything that we made. If that's the case, then when you hear this story, listen beyond the drama of it. beyond the drama of the story, beyond the judgments that your mind makes about how that's wrong, what happened to those guys, if they get arrested, and all this bullshit story. What we want to hear and what we want to learn is how to undo this illusion that it's possible for anyone to get beat. Okay, so that's what we want to open up to through the story. So anyone who's willing to join with me in that, to use this for awakening from the dream, thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay, I'm gonna bring Bob Shine on. Bob Shine, I'm promoting you so you can we can see a video of Bob Shine. Here he comes. Unmute Bob Shine. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Would you like to see me?
If you'd like to put your video on, please do.
Okay, I'm pushing. Says video can't start because host has stopped it.
Let me see what that's all about. Okay, I don't know what that's all about, so I will check it. Did I do something down here? I will check it before the next time I do wisdom dialogues.
Okay, so you don't need to see my black eye anyway.
Oh man, no, I don't think it's necessary. Let's hear what your experience is, Bob.
Okay, so this happened just a week from today, last Monday. So I was, I've hitchhiked to 40 states, Canada and Mexico with my family, Ananzar, Cheryl Shine, and myself. I've lived here on the Big Island since 2013, hitchhiked hundreds and hundreds of times, never had any bad experience ever in my entire life until I guess you could qualify it as maybe a bad experience this last Monday, a week ago. So it's the way I hitchhike every time I leave Wisdom Dialogues home to Kapoho from Pahoa. So I had gotten a ride to the Nanavali turnoff, continuing to go on 132 to Kalapana or Kapoho. So then this sports car, this kind of dark, smallish sports car raced by and then quickly made a U-turn and turned around and to pick me up. And so then I got in and there was this young guy. He had like tattoos on his neck and he kind of a handsome, kind of a local guy and looked like his girlfriend, some girl sitting in the front seat. And I got in the back seat and I said, oh, I'm going to Papaya Farms Road. And I could just sense right away that the energy was not good with this guy. He didn't say anything. And then he's like racing off. And he says, do you have any money for gas? And I says, oh, well, I think all I have is a $10 bill. Let me check. So fortunately, I got my wallet out of my backpack and looked and then put it in my pocket. And so then he goes just a couple miles up to the Lava Tree Park and stops and says, is this far enough? And I say, oh yeah, this is fine. And I was going to get out of the car and he reached back and grabbed my backpack and says, this is mine. I'm taking this. And I tried to pull it back away and he had a revolver, a pistol. And he took it and he bashed it in my left temple twice, just like bam, bam, like as hard as he could. And then, of course, I let go of the pack and he knocked my glasses off into the car. And then he drove off towards Kapoho. Fortunately, I had some paper towels in my pocket. I could dab the blood, but then I had to go to the Y and hitchhike home. My head all bloody, but fortunately, a friend of mine from the trading post picked me up. And so, yeah, and then when he drove away, I tried to see the license plate, but I couldn't see properly because my glasses were in his car. He drove off with my glasses. So I couldn't see clearly enough to see the numbers on his license plate. So I go home, and David and Emily, the people I live with, she's a nurse. She checked out my head and it didn't need stitches. And then David took me to the police department and I reported it. He insisted I should report it. And it was really interesting
Okay, so
because then, yeah,
you,
so
there's
that's
a,
the story.
wait, so, yeah, okay, so is that the, or is that the end of the story? Because that's the whole story. I didn't, it sounded like there were like the facts of the story. But I don't hear what your experience is. What's your experience?
Right. So let me tell you my experience. So I never felt traumatized. I just like went forward, dabbed my head and hitchhiked, and then I got home. It was all just a matter of fact. So it was a really, I want to tell you everything I learned from this because it was really powerful because it's like I could see that nothing could disturb my peace. My peace was not disturbed one bit. And then I get home and David says, "Are you traumatized? This is horrible. You don't seem to be upset or anything, you know?" And I wasn't. I was just
Uh-huh.
completely at peace and calm. So it was a great test for that. And then, people are saying, "Oh, you gotta, this guy is going to hell and you gotta do everything you can to get this guy." And so then, I'm faced with having to think about my attitude toward this person that bashed me in the head and stole my backpack.
Mhm.
And all I could, it's like, I just have no other choice, but it's come to my consciousness that even though it was this horrible, heinous act of violence, I can't see this guy other than as being pure and innocent and good. Because because he's coming at me with a low consciousness, a low vibration of violence, and I cannot meet him on a similar low vibration of guilt, wanting to see him punished, wanting to see him in prison, thinking that he's this horrible person. That there's two modes of being. There's either those who love and those who call for love. And he's a person who is calling for love, a person who has not received the love that he needs. Otherwise, he wouldn't be beating people with guns. So it's my call to bless him, to forgive him, to show him mercy, and to pray for him and to see that he has healing, to make it like a gift that he met me, someone that wants to see him restored to his original innocence and purity and goodness.
Yes. Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much for that. That's so awesome. So
Yeah, so
how does that make you feel?
that's it.
How does that make you feel?
Well, yeah, because then I've had people, try to, judge me and criticize me and condemn me for this, that, or the other thing, and lay negative attitudes on me, and so I know how that feels. That I don't own that. That I don't accept or. Admit those kinds of condemnations, that I don't feel they're justified, that I am good and pure and innocent. And
Okay, so
so yeah,
I'm seeing something now, Bob. I'm seeing something now I'd like to share with you. Okay.
okay,
When
sure.
there's a sense that someone is criticizing or judging you, I'm sensing some defensiveness. Okay. And that's what manifests as punishment. So, and I've sensed that for some time. And there's defensiveness in that I don't have to take that, whatever condemnation they are trying to put on me. So there's a little bit of a shift here in seeing that the condemnation that they seem to be trying to put on you is really you. It's your doing. You are having them do that. So see, do you see where there could be a little bit of a turn there toward gratitude? Oh, thank you for letting me know. As soon as it seems like someone tries to criticize you, which isn't possible, but there's a habit of defensiveness to it. So as soon as it seems like someone is trying to criticize you, just a little shift there toward gratitude, and that'll make everything more gentle for you. There's certainly nothing wrong with going through an experience that involves a violent interaction to demonstrate what's true to your mind. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And it's not necessary if you will be gentler with yourself. So it's also always a sign that you can be gentler with yourself. Okay. So, Bob, do you see what I mean? You see what I'm talking about that defensiveness? There's a reaction that comes up because it's a deep wound for you to hear criticism. Do you feel that?
Yeah. So, of course, throughout my childhood, blamed and shamed and guilted for simple, innocent behaviors that should have never been shamed or guilt tripped.
Okay.
But then,
Stop right there, Bob. Stop right there. Okay, because here's where it's coming up again. Okay, this is the way. So it's like out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. So watch these things. Okay, so when you're telling the story and these are things that shouldn't have been done, that's a reflection of the judgment that's still being harbored. So immediately when there's a thing that shouldn't have been done, expressed through your mouth, notice how that feels. For there to be things that shouldn't have been done because that's what's believed. There's not forgiveness until there's willingness to recognize that you dreamed it up. They did not do that to you.
yeah, well, I'm of the belief system that I was born into this world with this negative script that I projected onto the world. The people are just reading back this shame, punishment, abandonment script that I broadcast as from a past life or whatever that I brought into this life. So basically,
okay, Bob, hold on a second. Hold on. So this past life idea, it doesn't, it's not good or bad. The idea of past life isn't good or bad, but you could use it in a way to stop your progress. You could use the past life idea in a way to stop you from progressing, okay? And in this case, that's what's going on here, okay? Because you're taking this past life idea and taking it as you were born. You weren't born. Okay, there's not one manifestation of one incarnation isn't possible. There's no incarnations. No one's incarnated. There's no incarnations at all. Okay, so now you don't have that excuse for the past life thing. Okay, so now whatever anyone's showing you, whatever anyone's revealing to you is for you to see through now. Okay, you don't have a past life excuse anymore to make it like I'm stuck in this fucking projected this thing for myself. You don't need that. Now it's just now. There's no there's no past, it's just now. You get the perception that someone is critical to you. All you need is to turn your attention to what that feeling sensation is and be willing to accept that you're making it up right now, not from a past life, right now. And that's how you're going to see through it. That's how you're going to be released from this pattern that you've been making go on for who knows, millions of lifetimes.
Yeah, well, there, now you're
No
talking
power over
lifetimes.
you, which has
But
no power over you now.
yeah, well, so in the same way that I'm thankful for this incident, the guy hitting me, and seeing that that I was still in my peace, that I was not traumatized. Now, lately, when people have been accusing me of things, it's like it just goes right through me. There's no trigger. There's
Trigger's gone.
no. Yeah, it's like I feel completely at peace. I don't own it. It's just
Okay.
like they want to pin this on me, and it just goes right through me
Okay.
because I know who I am. I know
Okay,
my truth.
Okay, so hold on, because that will pass. Okay. And the reason I'm saying that, the reason I know that will pass is because there's still a sense that someone did something to you and that needs to be cleared. Okay. So in order for it to be cleared, you have to get a reaction. So here's one thing to be careful of here. The ego will help you try to delude yourself into thinking you're always at peace. Be very alert because you want to actually feel whatever feeling is arising in the moment so that you can heal the misbelief that someone did something to you. Because as long as there's a belief that someone did something to you, then there's going to be more people seeming to do something to you. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
go ahead.
but that's what I was trying to say, that I'm the one that's doing it to myself. It's my, what I'm generating with my consciousness that is being projected onto other people to have these negative attitudes. So that's why I take it back in myself. That I mean, when you look in the mirror, you can't blame your reflection on the mirror. It's you. So
Yes.
people,
I hear Bob,
yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and it's awesome, and I agree with you. And I'm just saying it's not just you, it's everyone who gets a perception of a body. You're going to react, and I'm saying be alert to it. Okay, that's all. Be alert to it still. Even though you haven't had the experience since this happened, that's awesome. That's incredible and awesome. So let's look at how that's taken, as in it's going to always be that way. That's how the ego will take it. What I'm saying is any kind of spiritual enlightenment, whatever that you seem to have attained, look at that too will pass, because as long as there's a body, it's going in and out, in and out, in and out, and be alert. That's all. Okay.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm not perfect. I'm still evolving and growing
Oh,
and
you
learning.
you are perfect.
Right. Yeah, that's just it.
And
So
okay, and here's the thing. What there is to learn of that perfection through the experience. Okay. So so the experience is arising with its reaction. The reactions are coming. You can expect the reactions to be coming. The experiences are going to help you reveal more and more the innocence that you are, and then you'll be able to live that until you see through the whole world. But the thing is, the world disappearing, with the world disappearing. Okay, thank you, Bob. I am apparently talking about something that doesn't involve this at the moment. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you for having me.
I love you. Aloha. So what's being asked of us is to completely undo this world, which is very, very scary for the ego. It is reacting to the undoing of this world. It is reacting to how we're moving forward in thought, as far as opening up to more and more and more to, we're making this up. This is a dream. We have the power. We have all the dominion over this world. And as that's going on, there's more of a fearful energy that is not recognized by most of the people. What's recognized is a fearful energy that seems to be in the world. Like I hear, all the fearful people who are wearing masks, apparently. That's also a projection. It's a projection of this fear of the undoing that's going on right now. It's like this mind is being exposed. One part of Bob's story that he was talking about, how he just wants the best. What I heard, I don't know if it was the exact words, he wants the best for that person who seems to have clocked him in the head with a gun. And it's like, man, that is the ultimate in a situation like that. That is the ultimate, is to just like, feel that connection with them. Like, I want the best. It's like, okay, what this is, whenever there's a manifestation of some kind of a violent act like that, it's a confusion playing out. It's a playing out of confusion. It's definitely not to be glorified. It's not something you should seek after so that you could get a big healing. Okay, it's not like that. It's not when it occurs. Yes, it's a gift, and also the reason the gift has to come in a violent form is because of self-violence. And it's this stubbornness, refusal to let go of the idea that someone did something to you. And I'm telling you, you can say that you let go of it all day long. You can say that you let go of the idea that someone did something to you, but it's going to come up. If you have that belief, you can't help it. It's going to come up in lots of different forms. For one, it's going to seem like other people are being critical of you. Okay, it's going to seem like other people can do something to you. For me, when I get the sense that someone is being critical of me, the response is, "Aw, that's sweet. That's so sweet. Thank you." I mean, because I feel it. And it's good. And it's like it's like I can join, and I'm not blinded by my reaction, but I could still feel it. I could feel with the person. This is how we experience together. This is how we share an experience. I could feel with the person. Someone's feeling critical, I can feel with them, and in that I can help heal. It's like we join together. So whenever there's a rejecting of it, or feeling as if someone really is critical of you, it's not like you can make them critical of you and then forgive them for being critical of you. That's not forgiveness. That's false forgiveness. The only way they're going to be forgiven and you're going to be forgiven is if you're willing to see that you're making that whole thing up right now. That's the scariest thing for the ego. That's why it seems like there's a big uproar in the world, because more and more of us are approaching that, where it's just got the ego like, I got to do whatever I can. And the ego isn't in other people. It is not in other people. It doesn't even exist. Through it, you're capable, through it, you're capable of projecting an ego for yourself and everyone else. As if they're separate egos. Oh, my ego doesn't like their ego. Like that. Even when, you know, your idea of your ego likes their ego, that's not even anything that benefits you. Your ego will like people if your ego thinks that those people benefit. Those people will benefit you. Your ego evaluates, and yeah, that's the ego. It's not like we have separate ones. We're all the same like that. That's the kind of information the ego gives us. Oh, how can that benefit me? You know, I was sitting out at ecstatic dance. I was dancing for a little while. Before I danced, someone gave me some sassafras. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. I had never even heard of that. I'm like, what's sassafras? Oh, it's a root bark. I'm like, okay. So I take some of that. After that, I'm like hanging out, watching all the peeps, sitting down, enjoying misty weather with bare feet, which isn't like me at all. So that was interesting. Usually I would put some shoes on and maybe, you know, something to be warm. But anyways, there was a beautiful woman came and sat next to me, and I was really interested. I felt like I was just like really wanting to talk to her. She was so interesting to me, and you know, I was sharing some things with me, and this with me, yes, with me. Seemed like it was with her, but it was really with me. I was sharing some things with myself, using her as a prop. I really like that reflection of myself. And then someone else comes up and sits next to me, and I'm going, and they just start talking to me. So I look over this way, and that person's talking to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, awesome. So I go to look back at the girl, and you know, she's really interested in me too. And we're both like, and this other person's like tapping on me, like really tapping on me. And I'm like, oh, so I look over there, and then all of a sudden I notice, oh, okay, this is where my energy is being called right now. You know, and it's like, it's not because of his persistence with the tapping. It's not that. It's not like anyone who taps me is going to get me to, you know, I don't know what's going to come out of it. I could say, you know what, I'm really interested in this conversation over here right now. We were in the middle of the conversation. I'd love to talk to you. Maybe we could hook up like a little bit later, you know, just whatever. But no, it was just like, it was just like obvious. And I just smiled at my friend over here, like, kind of like, hey, I'm over here now. And it was all good. You know, of course it's all good. And it's just, and it's interesting because the person who was calling for my attention, who was sitting next to me on this side, calling for my attention, seemed like not as interesting to me as the person over there. But I could also sense the call from within to be with this person right now, because there's something here for me to teach and learn. So, and it's really fun. So it's so cute. The person came up to me the next day, and he was so happy that I was paying attention to him. He was just so glad. He goes, hey, thank you so much for listening to me yesterday. That really helped me, and it made me feel so good. And I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. And you know, I'm connected with the girl that was sitting, beautiful woman, girl, goddess. None of it means anything. I was sitting right here, you know, and we're hanging out, so it's cool. it's like it all, and it all works out the way it needs to work out. Like if that person gets up and leaves and I never see them again, oh, it was just my imagination that I needed to connect with that person. Like if I did not connect with that person, I did not need to. That's how that goes. So it's not up to you to try to change your ego or eliminate your ego or anything like that. Just don't rise up with the ego. You know what I mean? So just don't rise up with the ego to evaluate someone else's ego, for instance. Or to evaluate yourself. That's always the ego when you're talking about evaluating yourself. I mean, the ego doesn't even really, I mean, you can say everything the ego says is false. That's the only evaluation it needs. Basically, whatever the ego says, it's not worthy of you. Just not worthy of you. That's the only evaluation it needs. Don't rise up with it to evaluate your brothers and sisters, to evaluate your experiences. Your experiences don't need any evaluation, because forgiveness is right now. And we make these ideas about ourselves that we need something, we need some kind of suffering, or we need some kind of punishment. That's the only way we perceive any violence. Okay, we make these ideas about ourselves. So that's why it's kind of like it's urgent that you pay attention. It's kind of like it's urgent that you pay attention, because that's what keeps you safe in the apparent world, safe from apparent harm. Even in the apparent world, it keeps you safe from condemnation, number one, because that's in your mind. And in the expression, it keeps you safe from violence, sickness, conflict, anything like that. Yay, Kathy. Thank you for joining. Yay, Marina. You're beautiful. Thank you so much. Marina and I had a beautiful bread making experience together. Found out a lot about sourdough starter in that. I told Marina my last 2 loaves have come out flat, so we don't know, it could come out flat. Not that it's not good if it's flat, still good. It's pretty darn tasty stuff. But it's so much fun when it rises too. It's like it's all fluffy, and so we found out, Marina and I, we were watching some YouTube videos, that it was hungry. It was just hungry, and it needed some more flour and water. So now, Marina, so I have one rising. I have a starter rising very well on the counter. And if you don't know it yet, you need more flour and water until it gives you like a 25 to 50% rise as a starter. So here's a fun thing, it's like there's with bread making, I learned a lot through bread making, because it's like this slow process. It takes about a day. The whole process takes around 12 to 15 hours, depending. So it's a nice long process, and you never know what it's going to look like in the end. Are you going to get that oven spring, or are you not? It's like you're going for the oven spring. That's the apparent goal. Like, are you going for that? Now, everything can be your teacher, whether, that's why I say, don't be condemning what it is that you seem to be doing. Everything can be your teacher. Some of my friends go baking, like, why would you want all that gluten? Chitta's probably going, oh God, the cooked food. What are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? Killing yourself with that shit. No, I don't know. I don't want to put that on you, Chitta. That's just my impression over years of raw primal food experience myself. So, whatever it is, just don't condemn it. and use it for what it's meant to be used for. Because any kind of frustration or thought like, oh no, uh, or it might seem mundane to you, but since you can use everything, you might as well use baking if that's arising for you. It's nice and chill. It's kind of like a chill scene. You can see a lot in baking. It goes slow. You can see a lot of things that come up. It's like a nice, slow, gentle process. And that's what I encourage for people, is a slow, gentle, easeful process of awakening, because that's going to make it go faster too. Yay. Yay. Oh yeah, and it's called hooch. That stuff at the top. So what happened was the starter was watery on top. There was this like a watery layer on top. We got a name for it now. It's called hooch, which I thought that was like a loose chick. I don't know. I remember that song. Who got the hooch? Who got the only sweetest thing in the world? I think they're talking about a cooch, like a vagina. I don't realize they're talking about, I don't know, maybe they are talking about sour starter. But anyways, it goes slow, so you can see all the little nuances where your mind dwells. That's what it is. And you only need to see. That's it. You only need to be watching. And that's the most important thing. You just need to be watching where your mind dwells. And if you're getting caught up in where your mind dwells, just turn your attention back to the feeling. So you could see what getting caught up in these dwelling places causes. Okay, because whatever you're feeling when you're caught up in one of those dwelling places, that's the first effect. That's a first manifestation of your thinking. So then that. Oh, wonderful. When you're aware, it's the same as you're not hiding it from your spirit. You're revealing it to your spirit, and your spirit will heal anything that you'll reveal. See, it's this guilty thing that has you trying to hide things. And when you're trying to hide things, like, the spirit's not going to bust through your barriers. It's like, really, your guide, which again, we all share the same guide. And that guide knows who you are, knows what you're deserving of, and also knows what you're thinking about yourself. Okay, so that guide is always available to you and knows you, and is actually guiding your life the whole time. Is actually guiding you the whole time. And you get in touch with that guide, and that guide will show you that you're not anything that you thought you were. Okay, so that's what all of this is for. Every single feeling that comes up that seems like it's any kind of pressure on you, irritation, discomfort. It could be that you forgot to wet your hands before you did your stretch and fold. Damn it, I forgot to wet my hands. There's your teacher. It's just right there. So you don't have to have these big, strong, healing, oh man, violence, making a bunch of drama with other people. That's another part of it. You know what I mean? It's like, you can say, oh yeah, I love going out and getting socked in the face because so much healing comes out of it, and then there's like all this drama too, the police and this and that and this and that and this and that. But you don't have to have it like that. It's just that when it shows itself like that, it's an indication that this is the gentlest way that you'll accept for yourself. This is the gentlest way that you'll accept. So that's the way it needs to manifest. Like for myself, when the lava came and took apparently my whole life, I was like, yes, I felt that I needed that. It was like something like, wow, man, I have been violent with myself and not seeing it. And that shows it to me. It's just like reveals it to me. I'm like, yes, perfect. Thank you. It's like, these patterns that we play, there's so many there's so many layers of, you say there's layers of the same pattern. It's like you'll get a healing and you'll find some relief, and then there will be some, and the gripping to the patterns is frantic. It's a frantic gripping. It's like this. It's like good. That's like kind of image it is. It's like because it's so fearful to lose the image, and that's the whole, what the whole fear of death is all about. There's no body that dies. No body dies. Just an illusion. An image dies. It passes away is a better way of saying it. Better way. Is what died. I mean, it wasn't alive. It was an image. It arose and it passed. It passed away. An image passed away. That which seemed to be that which was projecting as if it was form goes on. You know, nothing dies. But the fear of death is so prevalent that it's as if you're going to lose yourself, because we're all identified as a separate self. That's what makes it possible for us to perceive ourselves out as a body. Now, we didn't actually create ourselves as a body. We made ourselves up as a body, but we didn't actually create ourselves as a body. That would be impossible, because creation is all eternal. There's nothing that's temporary in creation. And the image we made of ourselves is temporary. You know, I know there's people who are focused on keeping the image alive, as in keeping the body alive. That's awesome. And that's not really what we want. You know, it's like one thing to play with in the illusion. That's fine. It doesn't make any difference. You can play with trying to keep the body alive forever, or you could play with gardening, and they're the same. You know, they're both leading to death. Isn't that so fun? What leads to eternal life is a choice in the mind. It's always a choice in the mind. That's what leads to eternal life, not anything that you seem to do here. You know, you're not going to get it by anything that you seem to do in the material aspect of seeing. So it's going to erase the material world, and the sense of a body. Okay, there isn't really a body. There's a sense of a body, and it's such a strong sense that it manifests as if it's form. It seems to have symptoms. It seems to get sick. You know, this morning I had the sense that I felt nauseous, and you know, it's like this thing seems to feel nauseous. As soon as I get the perception, oh, I feel nauseous, you know, and it's like it came out of my mouth. My husband goes, "Oh, you're still here," because normally I'm up at in yoga by that time, in my physical yoga practice, and I go, "Yeah, I feel nauseous." And as soon as that came out of my mouth, it was an awareness for me that the body is not able to tell me how I feel. I project the nauseous feeling. There's no cause for it except for a guilty feeling. Within 10 minutes, I was in a physical practice. It's like the symptoms of it arise to get a rise out of you. And they're just passing away. The symptoms that arise in the body are just arising and passing away within the story of a body that's arising and passing away. It's something that's projected from the mind, and it's always for healing the sense of separation. So if you'll use every single symptom like that, and you know, getting your ass beat is a symptom. That's also a symptom. And Bob, I just want to say I'm really grateful for you sharing your story, and I'm grateful for you, your willingness to have an open heart with the one who seems to have punished you one who seems to, I mean, you didn't even take it that way. As far as I can tell, you didn't even take it as if it was punishment. In the illusion of it, the drawing, the picture of it, that would definitely be regarded as a form of punishment. So thank you for the forgiveness, which once again, you forgive them for what you made of them. You forgive, it's not even really that there's a them. Let's say you forgive the illusion that you made of them. Let's say it like that. You forgive the illusion that you made of them, which means the illusion was an illusion and it didn't really happen. No one picked you up hitchhiking. You've never ever hitchhiked before, notwithstanding the story that you've done it forever. You've never really hitchhiked before. No one did anything. The whole story is all a fabrication. The person that you thought did something to you also thought they did something to you, also fabricated a story in their mind that they did something to you. So the healing there is in you allowing them to be relieved of that thought that they could harm another person, because that is suffering. It's like you want their release. You want their release because that's your release. As the one who got your ass beat, you're the one who can release them from the guilt that made them imagine that they were capable of beating you up. It's like you taught them to imagine that they were capable of beating people up. And now you want to help them undo what you taught. That's all. Show them how they healed you. That's a demonstration that's within your own mind. You don't really have to get a physical manifestation of a meeting. You're always meeting, you're always joining. But in showing them when they arise in your thoughts that they did no harm to you, they healed you, they gave you a gift. And that's what I see with Bob Shine. And I really want to extend appreciation for that. That you'll allow that person to be free from any condemnation. And that's their condemnation that would have them imagine that they could harm another person. No one really wants that, even if they think they do. I read a story the other day about a woman who got rescued by some customers from another woman who tried to set her on fire. She ran up to her and she doused her with gasoline, and then she lit a match. She was like, "I don't like you. I'm just going to burn you up." And the woman got tackled by a couple of other women. And when I heard that story, I could just sense the pain of wanting to burn someone up. And in that, it's given me for healing. Because I can sense the pain. See? That's what it's for. And in that there's relief, because the person who seems to want to burn another person up is not held to a guilty image. Like just wanting their release is enough. And in willingness to sense that feeling, to share that experience with them and accept the healing, that's demonstrating that to your mind that you want their release. And that's a gift for them. That's a gift to them that they can use when they're ready for awakening. That's how we hold each other's hands and guide each other home. Visualizing Bob's story here and a murderous thought flared up. Got the feeling. Healing is fun. Hooray. Bob's story. Thanks, Bob, for the gift. Yes, exactly. Yes. Or a scared feeling, or for those of us who live around here, oh, well, we don't want to, or for those of us who hitchhike all the time, I'm not one of them. Yeah, I've tried it before. I thought it was pretty funny. I was just automatically like, what the fuck? When a person drives by me and doesn't pick me up, I just can't believe it. How are they passing me up? Don't they know this is fucking awesome? I had fun with that. I actually turned around. I was on a really slow road. There were no cars at all. And then one car comes and I'm just so confident I'm getting picked up. The person passes me and I turned around. I'm like, what? They back up. and, and they didn't rape me or anything. They just gave me a nice ride. And they were happy that that was my reaction to them not picking me up. Yeah. So, well, before I got veered off on that story, that fear of hitchhiking thing, because you hear stories, that's bullshit. That is not true. Like Bob has experience. I have lots of friends with lots of experience hitchhiking. Pay attention to the vibe. Listen to your guide. When it no matter how much experience you have, there's a sense of where you are, where it's most easeful for you. I was going to say where you belong, but where it's most easeful for you. You could say that's where you belong, right? And I find that that sometimes the most easeful call might not look like the most easeful thing, but it's the most easeful thing for me in that moment, because that's exactly what I need. There's been times where I need a more abrupt learning experience. That's the only reason I would get something like that. And there's also guidance in that moment. If you're aware of it, you'll know that sometimes it's no. You don't have to have that particular healing experience. And when you see that, it's automatically done for you. You're redirected. All you need to do is see it, because remember, you can't do anything. So you can't choose not to get in the car. You can't do it. It's not possible for you. But you can choose to be aware of what you're being guided toward. I've put my hand on a door before and gotten a sense like, no, you're not going in there. It's like absolutely clear you're not going in that door. And it was like, okay. And I don't ask a question about that. And then there's a sense that, oh, this is going to be a little rough. And you get the guidance that, okay, this is good. You can take this, and it's got big gifts, and whatever it is, it's done for you. It's always done for you. If you're listening, you'll know exactly that it's where you need to be. So even when you start say you find yourself in the backseat of the car, you just hitchhike, and the energy starts getting weird. Like Bob was saying, the guy wasn't talking and he was driving fast, and it seemed like the energy was weird. The energy starts getting weird. You know what? It's like to recognize that I am exactly where I need to be right now. Can I see where I'm exactly where I need to be right now? Because in that, there's a healing, and may even, if you're willing enough, prevent any violence. Remember that no violence can come to you. No violence can come to you when your mind is completely free of guilt. So what your aim is, and you're not trying to judge the outcome or anything, but what your aim is to be completely clear that you belong right here, right now, because you're the one who can allow healing. You're the one that can forgive your misperception. See through the sense that this person is scary. Mm-hmm. And the backpack, it's like, who gives a shit? It's like the first thing. It's like someone says, "Hey, give me your backpack." There you go. Really need it. Okay. There's this sense that, and I know how it is. There's this sense of attachment to our stuff. And we don't have a choice in whether we're going to be giving anyone anything. So the other night I'm sitting there and I paid a friend for some smokes. Someone was making these smokes with like ganja and some different herbs with them, these really cute long smokes. And I was paying for some smokes, and it was some 20s. And another friend goes, "Hey, give me one of those." And I gave him one. And I know I don't have any choice in that. But I just love it, because then a thought comes up, and the guy next to him, and he goes, "Oh, just ask and you'll get it, woohoo, awesome." And a thought creeps in and says, "Oh, what if the next they ask you for 100, you got 100 in there too, And I just get a hold, get a load of that feeling, just get a load of the feeling of, what if I were to be out 100 because someone asked, and then the next thing I know, I'm doing 100, I'm giving them 100. And it's like, none of that stuff is relevant. There isn't any money. You don't have a choice in anything that you seem to be doing. And that seems to be the hardest thing for people to get. You don't have a choice in anything that you seem to be doing. It's just that you seem to be doing the things to bring up a feeling like scarcity. And that's what that is. Oh no, what if they do that and I don't have a choice? I could give them 100. I could say no too. I don't know. I don't have a choice in it. But what if they do it and then I just keep on, and then they say, "Hey, give me your ATM and take all the money out of my account." I have no idea how it's going to go. I don't know. But I know what it's for. So that's perfect. Because any of these thoughts that come up speak to scarcity, speak to lack of trust that it's going perfectly, that everything's going perfectly. One friend came up to me on Friday night and said, "I struggle with vanity." And I said, "Why do you have a judgment about it?" So he's like, "Oh, it's a struggle because it's a judgment. It's a struggle because you think you don't like it." Just be aware of vanity. It's fun. It's not like, "Oh, my vanity," like it's bad. It's like, there's vanity. The ego is vain. It doesn't touch you. It's awesome. It's cute. Look, I'm checking out my ass again. I'm pinching my cellulite. This is fun. I'm thinking of ways I can perfect this physical form. This is awesome. Who cares? Who cares? Why are we going to be sitting in judgment? And it doesn't matter what it is. People want to sit in judgment. It's like first I'm judging that I need to lose 5 pounds, for instance. Judging that I need to lose 5 pounds, and then I get over that and I go, I don't need to judge myself on my weight. I need to judge myself on my vanity. The thing is, you're not vain. You're not capable of being vain. You never were vain. So you might as well just enjoy the illusion that you could be vain. Isn't that so fun? And you know, you're being aware of the vanity turns it into a healing opportunity. It's not that you need the vanity to go away. You need to recognize your innocence. You need to recognize that the vanity doesn't touch you. And then you won't be drawn into it like it's a problem. You could say vanity is something else. Should say vanity is analyzing yourself. Which again is not a problem. You're just being aware of it makes it something that you use for healing. It turns it into a device for healing. You're just being aware of the problem you're making out of it turns it into a healing opportunity. Aloha. Yes. Asana has joined the party. Ask to unmute. Unmute yourself. You can do it. All right. Whenever you unmute, let me know. Your mic is open on this side. Aaron, do you go by Aaron now, or are you still a theory? Is that the same person? Yes, it is. I believe. Yes, that is you. Asana.
Ooh,
I'm so glad you're here.
Yes, that is you. Asana.
Wait.
Ooh,
How am I so loud?
that is you.
Okay, there we go.
Oh,
It's us.
oh, it's Asana.
Yes, yay.
Yay.
I'm so glad.
I had to leave the noise that I was around.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah, you come on a lot. Actually, but I haven't, a lot of times I was on Facebook. I love all your topics tonight. Good, juicy stuff, boy.
Yay. Thank you.
Yay. Moving beyond the illusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to really, our goal is to awaken from the dream.
Yes.
Right? Not to try to make it better.
Right.
To try to make the dream better. And it's like the dream is going to get better anyways as you're awakening from the dream. That's just natural. It's a happy dream. As you're eliminating this guilty concept from your mind.
Yes. I know, it's wonderful. It's so freeing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I've been on awake a lot most of the time these days.
What fun.
So, yeah, I'm feeling the peace and the I've come to the conclusion that the only security ever could be is in knowing oneself as the divine one.
Oh, yes.
The only security.
Sure.
It's like,
Good.
wow, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So nothing else matters.
That's right. Nothing else matters. And every iota of sense that something matters in the world is only there to see through it.
Yes.
It has no meaning beyond that. No meaning or reason beyond that.
I listen to you all the time.
I am
I
so honored. Thank you.
I'm doing these leg treatments.
Uh-huh.
So this is the funny part. So I'm sure this will be juicy for you. So it's a treatment. I had a heart attack in 2018 that damaged a part of my heart, so they say.
Okay.
So in the story. So, so anyway, so they say do these treatments, and what it does is it's compression on your legs, and it forces the arteries to expand,
Okay.
right? Which then is healing for the heart. And so on a 3D level, that sounds pretty good, right? So like something
Okay.
nice to do. So I'm doing it, but there's a whole bunch of them, and I go 3 times a week, and it's a couple hours each
Huh?
time. And so I'm up to almost 70 treatments, which is what they wanted me to do.
Mhm.
But I'm laying there, and you've been like, I listen to you for those 2 hours. I turn on
Oh,
your things, and I'm um, moving, oh, recognizing that this is the dream, not the reality.
nice.
Right?
I'm so glad. Yeah, and the more you open up to it, you'll also some things will enter your awareness that you can use anything for healing, and it could be anything like it could be something that you like fully enjoy doing, and that could be healing. It's like you open up to, because we just make things into something that can heal ourselves, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so it's
You
like you could appoint anything to be that.
right. Well, you've taught me that.
Yay.
Yay. I wish I was there with you. You talk about being with your friends. Well, okay, virtually, let's just pretend we're together, because I'd love to, on my friends, I love to love people up, ones that
I
will let me. Right?
know.
It's so much fun.
I know, and you're so snuggly too.
And so many people don't want to. So it's like, okay,
Ah.
but, you know, anyway.
Okay, so there is something that you can use right there.
Yes. Yes.
And
Oh, that perception. Yeah, right.
it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like
Geez.
missing. It's like missing. I don't know if you saw my post today on Facebook about
Not
missing.
yet. Not yet.
Okay, yeah. So it's like that. It's like and anytime you hear yourself say, "I wish," you know, okay, it's kind of like a setup, because when you say "I wish," it's like denying your will, and
Oh,
your will is
yeah.
always in the present moment.
Right.
So it's like there's an
Sure.
acknowledgement. Oh, it feels good to be able to love people up like we do in Puna. We just smush, we smush right into each other. A lot of us do that, and there's just so much of that for those of us who enjoy it.
Right.
And when you're wherever you are, that probably seems really weird to people.
Yeah.
When I was younger, oh my goodness, I would have people react. I did not realize there were certain people that did not want a hug from me. I thought
Right.
that was the weirdest thing. And I went up and I hugged this person, and he goes, "Hey, don't ever do that." And I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't even like imagine that anyone would react like that." I was probably like 22 years old or something, and I was like, "Wow." And I kind of like learned how to keep my hands on myself more after that, and kind of like open my arms like that and see if people are ready for a hug.
Right.
Like bombing them with a hug. But so the wishing is another one of those tricks, because it removes the importance of your will in the present moment. And see, the thing is, that wish is also one of those felt sensations that I'm always talking about, when it's like, I wish I was there instead of here, because it feels way better over there. You need compassion right there for that sense, because actually nothing happens. Now, for not in wisdom dialogues, or you're not someone who's open to this, and it's just like, so, I'm at a party or whatever, and someone tells me they wish something, all I do usually, unless I'm called to say something, usually at the minimum, what I do, remember, doing is in the observation. At the minimum, what I'm going to do is get relief for them,
Mm,
because I know they don't really wish and they don't really miss. But at a
right.
minimum, I'm going to have the relief for them, in the knowing that they're exactly where they need to be. And
Oh,
that's
that's so beautiful.
healing. Yeah, isn't that fun?
I never heard it put in those terms like that, and the perception of that. Yeah, that's really beautiful. And very oneness, huh?
Well, I call it fairy oneness.
Yeah, right. I like that.
That's right. It's like, I get the image of fairies. They're kind of like, you're still being mean. Like, hey, you're still being mean to yourself. And so I can see when I'm being mean to myself, and if I don't see, the reflection from someone else will show me right away. I mean, if someone's reacting in a way that they're offended by me, I know that I was blind. I need to see it in that way, that someone's offended by me. That's how I need to see it. That's all.
It's
You know?
like the Ho'oponopono
Yeah,
healing. I was thinking about that the other day. You can actually apply that principle, right? Or that
that's right.
right? Their concept, perception, whatever you want to call it in the story,
Yes.
right? To all kinds of things
Yes. That's right. So for
in
those,
relationships.
yes. Yes. So for those who don't know, Ho'oponopono, it's like, it's kind of like, in a nutshell, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And it's basically leading the mind to the same realization that I made this up. It's basically
Yes.
leading the mind to the exact same thing.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, that we're projecting that. We project that on everybody. So that's something that came to me the other day. Was I found myself talking about my husband, right? It was relating to him, to somebody about he's got this and this illness, blah, blah, right? And so afterwards, it was on tape. And so afterwards, I heard myself. And then I was like, oh my goodness, right? I am just projecting all this sickness onto my husband, and then I'm like, oh my God, I projected on the entire world. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and the gift is in being aware of it. That's all.
Oh, totally.
Why you can be so happy about it.
And yeah, right.
I'm so, oh my God, I just murdered everyone. I'm so grateful. I murdered everyone in my mind. And that's the thing really that's going to keep you safe and to keep everyone safe from your violence.
I know, that's scary.
Yeah, and only in a dream, because
Yes.
everyone's really safe from your violence. It's only in your dream that they appear not to be safe from your violence.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because they're still protected by God. So
Yeah,
it's,
that's true.
it's
Right.
like, yeah, but who wants to be dreaming of killing their brothers and sisters when you can be dreaming of something so much better and
Yeah,
awakening
loving them up.
in it,
Much
right?
more fun.
It's much more fun. Yeah. And you know, you're willing to see them really happy and blessed, and with all their sharing all their gifts. You're also willing to see yourself in that way, and you will see yourself in that way because that's how it works. But in trying to find out what benefits you in the world, and trying to conceive for yourself how you should go to get what you think you need for yourself, that will lead you down a path toward basically damnation. It's self-damnation. Not that you can't turn around in any moment and come back. See, it's not like you're ever going to be lost. And you know, that brings me to you know, the sense that there's dark ones in the world, and that they're lost. You know, the thing is, they're not lost. And you know, you are the one to save them. You're the one, because they're appearing in your perception as if they're lost. Like some of them seem to be like they're lost forever. Like maybe that example that I gave of the woman who wanted to light someone on fire because she didn't like them, you know, or Bill Gates, for instance. You know, I've seen some stories about him that would paint him as a someone who, whatever it is, if you're perceiving anyone to be lost, anyone to be held outside of the kingdom of heaven, outside of whatever, never to be redeemed, anything like that, your mind needs healing. Your mind needs healing now. There's not there's no way that you can awaken from this dream while you're holding anyone or any part of it in condemnation. You have to allow, it's like everyone else goes first. You are the second coming of Christ. Okay. You are that. That happens through you. So it's like, how many people does it take to awaken this world? One, just one. These dreams, they're subjective. I'm in your dream and you're in my dream, but our dreams are subjective. The second coming of Christ is just only you, because there's only one of us, and you're just dreaming that there's more than one. So your whole world will awaken. Like they go first. They go first. Okay. Basically, you don't see them as these graven images anymore. You see them clearly. In fact, the graven images you don't see. That's non-seeing. That's basically non-seeing. Perceiving is like you're getting a visual of something that's not there. Okay. But you're getting a full body visual. It's like a visual beyond, like, you know, we have symbols of it here. We're like, we have virtual reality now. We have symbols of it here. And virtual reality is really, really good. I can vouch for that. I've played with it. But it's nothing compared to the illusion our mind can make. You know, it's nothing compared to that. But still, it's pretty freaking realistic. Like when I cut off my arm in virtual reality, I felt something. One of them was fear. And it seemed like, it's like I had to remind myself that I was in virtual reality.
Oh.
So this virtual reality is way more of a mind fuck. Like we really take it to be true.
Yeah.
It's very realistic. So, okay, let's see. Glenn, seeing that there is no choice. Also, people on Facebook, right? If you want, I think I'm seeing your stuff, but maybe I'm not. I think I am. Aaron called me a powerful goddess warrior extraordinaire. Wow, Aaron, thank you for seeing me that way. You know, it's so funny because it's like to me, you have that kind of vibe, you know? Like, so thank you. I appreciate that. That feels good. Seeing that there is no choice in any apparent doing circumvents potential guilt fear from arising. That's right. That's it. This seeing is not a doing, but rather it's a recognizing of the truth with compassion. Yes. And who is it that needs compassion? It's always you. You know, I had one friend come to me this week and say, I feel so sad for him, because she's realizing that she's being drawn away from what she thought was a lifetime partner, and she's being drawn into something else. I mean, drawn like a picture, like you can't fucking help it. It's going on. It's like you can just like narrate it. Okay, now I'm not attracted to you anymore, and I'm attracted to that guy over there. Like you can't even help that. What's going to happen? Exactly as it needs to, in your imagination, progress. That's how it's going to progress. Okay, you can't do anything about it. So yeah, so big way in this kind of situation, how the guilt and fear is going to manifest itself. That person looks like they are freaking devastated because you're leaving them. And gosh, this is so sad. And it's like, okay, there's the opportunity. Again, you were sad before you made the world. He is not sad. He's kidding. He's kidding. He's projecting that for you. If people see that the person is kidding, that's how they can extend compassion, because they think that person is outside of themselves. That person is outside of yourself. How could you extend compassion to them? You're thinking in that kind of term, that they're outside of yourself. Think of it like this: they're just kidding. They're actually giving me a gift, my awareness that I am sad about, but it's not about this. I am sad, but it's not about this thing. That sadness comes from the sense of separation, and that image of a person who seems to be being made sad by you is your opportunity to heal your sadness. And how do you know? You're reacting to it. Thank you for showing me the sadness within myself that I did not see. Now, the dialogue, as far as it goes with the person, if there is any dialogue, that will be anointed dialogue if you're allowing yourself to see clearly. You don't have to know what to say. You can speak without thinking. I know that's the opposite of what they told you, right? You can speak without thinking, because the spirit speaks through you when you're allowing yourself to see what's true. If you're taking the person you're pitying, you're not capable of pitying. You think you're capable of pitying someone, but really all that's doing is keeping your sadness hidden from yourself so it doesn't get revealed to your spirit and healed. It's a scapegoat. You put the sadness over there in them. See how tricky it is? And look for your feeling. It's not that tricky when you just go, okay, it's this simple though. All I need to do is watch how I'm feeling and be responsible for my own joy. Making the choice that allows joy. That's all. They're just kidding. Another friend said, Hope, I'm not sure how to be a good friend in this situation. My friend seems to have been, our friend seems to have gone over the deep end. And I go, she's just kidding. Again, my friend's like, oh yeah, I'm talking to people who can take this, apparently. And they keep on popping up in my field, apparently. I know what that is. I know what it is. It's a reflection. There's been a lot of healing here for the sense of separation. My friends are reflecting that. Even people I didn't even meet before are walking up to me, saying something to me. I say something to them, and it lands. And I know, then that's what integrates all the teachings. It's like it just goes, the people start to awaken in your field. The people start to awaken. They can't help it because your experience of them is your mind being played out. So if you're allowing peace for yourself, you're going to start seeing everyone else around you accepting that, and forgiving, true forgiveness, open to true forgiveness. I'm seeing so much more of that. I'm so grateful for all of you who joined me in that. I mean, that's a big thing to ask for an ego. For one that's identified as an ego, that's a big thing to ask. One of them that, people are like, no, I'm not gonna be responsible for their reaction to me. That's their problem. They're all sensitive freaking pussies. Screw them. I'm gonna be myself. And it's like, yeah, yourself is super, super loving, way more than you know. And as you are, you cannot create suffering. You can't not create suffering for you to perceive. You can't create suffering at all. You can make illusions of suffering for you to perceive, okay? And those illusions are solely for keeping your own suffering hidden from yourself. If you think you're suffering over something in this world, it's because you want to keep the real reason for your suffering hidden from yourself. The only reason you're suffering is that you want your mind to be restored to sanity, where there is truth in your reality that is eternal, creating and created, and nothing else. Nothing to deny that. No pain, no appointments, no hunger, nothing that you can, nothing that's like a symbol of vulnerability or death or threat or anything like that. When we think in terms of healing, for the most part, what people think about is getting what they want in terms of how the body should be, or financial healing, having more money, or relationship healing, having that partner that you don't have, or making your partner be a better partner or something like that. But the only thing we ever can heal is the sense of separation. And whatever we get in the world is perfect for us. Now, I read a post from a man today, and wow, it really struck me. I got like I started getting like all these downloads and stuff, and a sense like I wanted to reach out to that man, and I just kind of like had to reel myself back because I was so like, woo, so much energy coming in about this. And it's basically what he was saying is that he had an opportunity to have sex with a woman the night before, and he didn't take that opportunity because basically she wasn't spiritually advanced enough. Okay. And he knew that she wasn't spiritually advanced enough because he couldn't feel her heart. Okay. So here's a thing. And I've had this experience myself with just feeling like this spiritual superiority, sense of superiority, as in there's certain people who may want to be with me, but I'm not going to be with them because I cannot feel their heart. Look, you don't have a choice in who you have sex with. You do not have a choice. You make no choice about that. What you have a choice in is whether you're going to believe that you're not being able to feel her heart was about her and not about you. See, not something that you projected into the field to make it as if you're more spiritually advanced. Now, this is an attack we tend to make on ourselves in a variety of different ways. It's like she wasn't good enough, she wasn't enough, or they weren't enough, or something like that. Hey, I would have had sex with her. She was gorgeous, but she just hadn't done enough work on herself. And I don't want to this, and I don't want to do something like that. Look, it does not matter if you had sex with a person or not. That's not really relevant. No one ever has sex, really. So it's a matter of, will you recognize that you projected her like that? That's how your heart is open. That's how your heart gets open. When recognizing that you made her like that. Okay. Ooh, I'm looking at my notes. So if I make a judgment on a person that they're at a certain level of consciousness, and this is one thing I noticed when I was hanging out with some friends, someone was telling me, well, I'm sure glad I'm talking to you and not them, because all those people over there are this. And I go, well, you made them like that though, right? You're making them out like that right now, right? That they're like that. And it's like, man, the resistance to knowing that is huge. Okay, they look like they're unconscious, but you made them out like that, right? Okay, what about all those people that are walking around masking and they're looking like they're scared sheeple? You made them out like that, right? See? You made them out like that. And then what do you do with that? Then it's not for gossip anymore. Then it's not for stroking your ego anymore. See? Then your sense of them being that, then the eyes turn in, and then you get healing, and then that's not such a heavy perception for you anymore. I know it can feel lonely. I know it can feel really lonely in the world. Because sometimes, I'll run into people and they'll be like, oh, thank goodness I met you. I was like, oh, it's like I was the first one they met that was like that, I guess you'd say. Like that. Hey, I've been having an inkling about that stuff. I'm glad you came up and expressed it for me. That's the first person I've ever heard express something like that. And I know that's really lonely, and it's also at the beginning stages, that's your mind. That's how it is. There's no one else around. It seems like all your family is against you. It seems like all your friends are against you. As soon as you change your mind about what the world means to you, all of a sudden it becomes really antagonistic. And there seems to be no one around. Like, Asana is saying that there's people over there aren't open to all the loving up that she likes to do. And the interesting thing about that too is there's no place. There's not a place. So, it's like opening up to, hey, wait a minute. It seems like I can't find the people who want to love up and be loved up here, but that's only a seeming reality. Wouldn't it be fun if I could do that here? I mean, just like opening up to it, wouldn't it be fun? Here's something interesting. When I was a little kid, my parents were all about diet dogma. They believed that they could eat stuff that would make them fat. Like the majority of the world believes that. Diet dogma. They believe they could eat something and then those things could make them fat. Like if they ate too much calories, they would gain weight. So I was ingrained with that belief. And when I remember the moment because it was just so powerful for me. I was probably 17 years old. I was inside of Costco. I was in line at Costco with my mom, and we were loading up the cart. And I felt so bad that I couldn't just eat what I wanted, because everything that I like to eat was something that would make me gain weight, according to my belief system. I just was like, kind of like mad about that. And then I go, what if everything that I like to eat was actually gonna make my body awesome? What if? That was the question. What if? It took decades for it to come back around, you know, but it stayed with me. It like kind of like in a subtle sense, almost like a whisper. It stayed with me. And at this point, it's so funny, recognize everything that seems to keep my body healthy, which it doesn't really do it. It only seems. And seems like I have a kick-ass body. My man's all, yep. And healthy and functioning well and flexible and strong and everything like that is all the stuff that I enjoy eating. And it just is so. It just is so. And that's the same thing with anything, you know, like that's symbolic. That's freedom. And so the same thing, you know, apply that to the same exact thing to this dream of awakening. This is a dream of awakening. Ultimately, you're going to wake up in the process. Your ego is getting really, really scared. And it's throwing things out there like, isn't this so sad, Asana, that you don't get all the hugs and kisses where you are over there now? And it's like, oh, well, is there some reason why I wouldn't be able to meet people here where they wouldn't be all lovey-dovey with me? It's like, you just watch when you open up to it, what occurs. What occurs. I met the most amazing people in Orange County, California. They were psychics. Oh my gosh. It seemed like everyone was dead in Orange County, California. Everyone looked dead. They were all just like, zombies walking through their life. It's like, where's the life around here? You know, because I was starting to wake up and I was like, is there any life here? You know, and I just like relaxed into that, you know, and trust, you know, that's something I learned really well as a kid, learning how to just trust the process and trusting and going, oh yeah, you know, that sounds nice to be around people who get me. It seemed like no one got me or anything in Orange County. And then, wow, did I learn so much from that group of psychics, and just the teachings that were there were like beyond anything that I had even come across at that time. Like for instance, I walked into the room and immediately one of the psychics got a really bad sense of me. I could tell, which tells me I'm psychic too. I could tell he got a bad sense of me. So that was fun. And I was like, and you know, and everything's coming from you. So you can always tell. That's really what psychic is. You can always tell if you're checking in, you know. It's like, oh, and I just thought that was fun to play with. Oh, he's getting how fun. He's getting a bad vibe on me. And I just thought that was wonderful. So we go through our psychic training thing. And in this psychic training thing, there's something about, it's kind of like a game. I don't remember it particularly, but it's my first time there and I completely fuck it up. I fuck up the game, right? Because I do the wrong thing, whatever it was, right? Apparently. And in that fucking up, he's the one that gets asked out. He's the one that doesn't get his answer from spirit because in this game, he's the one who doesn't get his answer to his question. And the person who's hosting it, like the main psychic, the main psychic person, looks at him, and I observe her looking at him and saying something like, you know what to do with that. Because he had a sense like, fuck this chick. like toward me. I can see the whole thing going down. And I'm just like, I'm just like observing this whole thing and I'm going, wow, that's awesome. And I see him just like completely just go to forgiveness for me. She like looks at him and goes, you know what to do with that. And he's like, oh. I'm like, wow, that was amazing. I just saw someone just completely get triggered by me and then and then allow it. And I was like, that must feel really good. See? So open up to all possibilities. Whenever you get a sense that something isn't good enough where you are, in any kind of situation, you sense that you're bored. That's how I start this thing, started this whole conversation. Something said to talk about being bored. And if you get the sense that you're bored, that is a sense that's on fire. If you allow it to be, it could really be a healing opportunity for you. If you'll take it as a sensation that means nothing except you thought against yourself, and you take that sensation and you write it. It's like a wild wave. It's far from being boring at all. Embrace the sense of boredom and have fun. Like you almost peed. Okay, Jill, you know what, that reminds me, I'm glad you like to laugh and have fun. So I wanted to let you know, because you're the one who asked me. You said, will you do short, like, I think you said bits of wisdom or something like that. In case you don't know, I'm doing bits of wisdom now on Instagram on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just after 11, like sometime between 11:15 and 11:30, right after I do the Miracle Botanicals oil of the week or essential oil video, right there on Instagram. It's Awesome Hope Johnson. I think there's dots in there between the words, but it's at Awesome Hope Johnson on Instagram. And then also you can follow me on Miracle Botanicals too. If you like essential oils, you just want to hear me talking about essential oils because it's fun. You can follow me on the Miracle Botanicals Instagram too. Isn't that fun? So I'm doing 2 wisdom bits a week, call them wisdom bits. And they're usually less than 5 minutes, where some topic just comes to me and I just like have a little bit of wisdom come out about it and share it with you because I love you. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate this time we spend together. And I just want to let you know too, that I'm getting a sense that I might be stopping wisdom dialogues again at down the road, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm just getting that sense, just letting you know. There's as always, when that occurs, the recordings are available and everything like that. Somehow I'm getting a hermity type sense. So we'll see what transpires with that. I don't know for sure. Just giving you guys a heads up. If you have questions and stuff, get them in, because hope today, gone tomorrow. No, there's always hope for you. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for joining. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.